Let's be honest, you've tried to move on. You've told yourself you're done blaming her. But still, something inside you freezes, not when she calls, but when someone looks at you the way she used to, when you hear that tone, when you feel that old ache that has no name. Here's the truth almost no one dares to say. It's not your mother who's still hurting you. It's the version of her that lives inside your psyche, silent, powerful, and inherited. Carl Jung called it the mother complex, not a label, a shadow. You see, the mother lives on, not in her words, but in the way you learn to speak to yourself, not in her presence, but in the way you punish yourself when no one's looking. This is what keeps you trapped, not her actions, but your unconscious loyalty to the pain she couldn't heal. And here's the heartbreak. You're not looking for her anymore. You're looking for the feeling she never gave you. You dress it up as love, you chase it in partners, but really, you're chasing repair. So let's name it clearly. The wound isn't her. It's the part of you that still hopes she'll show up differently, even now. And healing begins the moment you stop waiting at that door. You're not here to relive her story, you're here to end it. Are you ready to begin? You're exhausted but can't explain why. You love deeply but always feel unsafe. You long to be seen, but hide parts of yourself before anyone gets too close. It doesn't make sense until you realize this. You're still fighting a war, not against your mother, but against an image of her your mind created long ago. This isn't a woman made of flesh and memory. This is an archetype, a distorted symbol burned into your unconscious before you even had language. The myth of the perfect mother. The fear of the punishing one. The silence of the absent one. And that myth, it rules you. You don't see her anymore. You see your unmet needs. You see the hug that never came. The word that was never said. The gaze that looked through you, not at you. That's the shadow, and it doesn't leave on its own. So every time you seek approval, every time you sabotage love, every time you stay silent when your heart is screaming, you're not reacting to the moment. You're reacting to the wound. And the most dangerous part, you think it's normal? But that's how the pattern survives, quietly, invisibly. Until you stop. Until you say, I see you, and I won't let you rule my life anymore. 'Cause if you keep chasing love through old pain, you'll keep ending up alone, even when you're not. So here's the question. Are you ready to face the shadow, not the person? You swore you'd never be like her, never say those words, never make anyone feel the way you felt. And yet, here you are. You push yourself until you break. You silence your needs to keep the peace. You criticize your reflection before anyone else can. That's the trap. You didn't become her, you became her shadow. The internal mother, the one who says, you're too much. You're not enough. You don't deserve rest, softness, space. This voice doesn't scream. It whispers. It disguises itself as discipline, as strength, as the right thing to do. But then make no mistake, it is the voice that keeps the wound alive. Carl Jung warned, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. You're not cursed, you're repeating. Until now. Because when you finally see the voice, question the rule, break the vow, you disrupt the pattern. That moment when you say, I won't abandon myself to stay loyal to the past. That's where healing begins. Not with revenge, not with forgiveness, but with clarity. With the decision to no longer be your own jailer. The pain wasn't your fault, but the repetition, that's your responsibility now. So ask yourself, are you punishing yourself in her voice, or are you ready to speak in your own? No one is coming. Not in the way you imagined. Not with the warmth you craved, the safety you never had. That hug? That gaze? That soft voice whispering, "You're safe now, I've got you." It won't come from the past. It won't come from your mother. And it won't come from someone else either. But here's the quiet revolution. You can become that person. You can mother yourself, not as a theory, but as a daily devotion. Not when you feel strong, but especially when you feel small. It starts when you stop pushing through exhaustion and whisper, "Rest, love, you don't have to earn it." It deepens when sadness rises, and instead of silencing it, you stay. You listen. You soften. It transforms when you forgive yourself, not because you've done nothing wrong, but because you've punished yourself long enough. This is reparenting, not a trend, not a trick, but a sacred act of reclaiming your inner world, because the child in you never stopped waiting. And now she's watching. Every time you choose tenderness over judgment, presence over performance, safety over survival, she notices. And slowly, the wound becomes a home. No, this isn't easy. Yes, it takes time, but you're not doing this to fix the past. You're doing this to create a future that finally feels like yours. So ask yourself, can you love the parts of you she never could? Can you give what you never received? Because that's where the pattern ends and where you begin. There's a silence that comes after healing. Not because everything is fixed, but because you finally stopped waiting. No more hoping she'll change. No more carrying her pain like it's proof of your love. No more mistaking suffering for strength. You've outgrown the story. The one where you needed to be small just to belong. The one where love meant self-abandonment. Now, you choose yourself, not as rebellion, but as a quiet declaration. I'm allowed to be whole. That doesn't mean you don't love her. It means you're done being haunted by her ghost. You're done letting an inherited shadow define your voice, your boundaries, your worth. You don't need to become her. You don't need to erase her. You need to remember who you are without her shape pressed against your soul. That's where the real healing lives, not in the past, but in the moment you say, I get to begin again. So no, you're not broken, you're blooming into the kind of presence she couldn't be for you, into the kind of love that holds, not hurts. And maybe no one will notice. Maybe no one will see how hard this has been. But you'll know, and that's enough. So if something cracked open inside you today, write this, just for you. I choose me. I end the pattern. And if this message felt like home, subscribe, not to follow me, but to stay close to the part of you that's finally ready to lead.